that happened. Now, if you're like me, when you heard the news that Donald Trump was going to be the next president of the United States, it kind of caught you off guard. But at some point last week, I'm sure you sat down, maybe looked at yourself in the mirror, and thought, what the f do we do now? So I thought I'd take a look at some possible next steps that people have suggested on the internet and sort of unpack them and try and explain them, and also maybe talk about how likely they are. Let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is something that a lot of people actually private messaged me and DM'd me and tweeted me and asked me to talk about in a video, and that is the concept of faithless electors. The idea that electors who have pledged to vote for Trump will change their mind and instead vote for Hillary Clinton when the Electoral College actually votes for the president officially on December 19th. 21 states do not legally require their electors to vote according to the way the population tells them to vote, and then 29 states do, but the, punishment is really small. It's like a fine usually, and it's not like a crazy expensive fine. It's like your cousin's Kickstarter that's like kind of garbage, but is like doing okay level monetary fine. If your cousin can get people to pay him to make toaster pans, these people can get their legal fines paid. So how would this work? Well, an elector would be sitting at home like you and I were on election night, watching the TV screen going, oh, and they would tell themselves, no, I cannot vote for Donald Trump. That's not something I can do. Then instead of voting for Donald Trump, they would vote for another person or candidate. They could vote for Hillary Clinton, they could vote for Mike Pence, they could vote for Barney the purple dinosaur, and either pay the fine or skip merrily off into the sunset, depending on what state they're from. They could also abstain. They could go and pick up their vote and look at it and be like, nope. If Trump ends up with less than 270 official electoral college votes at the end of the day, well, we'll get to that in a second. It's the same process as something else, so put a pin in that and I'll explain it in a minute. What I want to say before I get into that is that there is precedence for this happening. It's extremely slim and unlikely because there are a lot of electors that have pledged to vote for Trump, and there would have to be a lot of electors changing their mind, and there would probably be backlash, and it would be incredibly difficult to pull off, but it's possible. The real issue is that the electors who vote for these people are nominated by the party that won the state. So Republicans will pick the electors that do the voting for them on December 19th. So unless the main party denounces Trump and says, look, we have made a mistake, please do not elect this man, it seems unlikely that most of the electors would change their vote. Another what-if scenario, what if Trump drops out? This one is interesting because it really depends on when he drops out. If Donald Trump decides he does not want to be president before the Electoral College votes on December 19th, then the Electoral College will pick a replacement, and they will vote for that replacement. And if that replacement does not receive 270 votes, here is where the Trump also does not receive 270 votes. If someone does not receive 270 votes in general at the Electoral College, then it goes to the House. The top 3 vote getters in the election sort of march off to the House, figuratively, not literally. I don't think they actually have to go there. And then all of the states in the House of Representatives vote for who they would like to be president of the top 3 vote getters. Each state gets 1 vote. Person with the greatest number of votes becomes leader of the free world. Same thing happens in the Senate, but they pick the vice president. If Trump chickens out after December 19th and he has been voted for and made official president, things get a bit complicated. But according to the New York Times, the likely solution in that scenario is that Mike Pence will become president of the United States. So what if all of that doesn't work and Trump gets confirmed and inaugurated and he becomes the president? Well, we have 4 long, tiring years of Donald Trump, president of the United States, that we are going to have to work through. Liberals are going to have to continue to be loud. We're going to have to continue to protest. We're going to have to continue to talk about the issues constantly. Creating direct change is also a possibility, as the Trump administration is hiring right now. They have 4,000 positions to fill, and they seem just a little bit overwhelmed. So if that's something that interests you, you can actually sign up and apply. I just want to check the URL here. Hold on. greatagain.gov. Go to greatagain.gov. You can apply to work for Donald Trump. Though I will say, Trump has not had a really good history of hiring people over the past week or so. Because, he hired Steve Bannon as his chief of staff, notorious white nationalist, racist piece of shit. He also hired Myron Ebel. Myron Ebel. Like you're evil, but with a head cold. That guy is a climate change denier. He is working with the EPA. Yay! Great choice. But if you don't get a gig in the administration, or you're like, that sounds like a hellacious nightmare from a fever dream that I had when I was sick with whooping cough, I don't blame you. That's cool. There are lots of other ways to make positive change happen. Like I said, be loud, protest, contact your representative by mail or by phone. Email, they don't open those. And Twitter, social media, they don't care. They're too busy. If you can, support organizations that are going to help people who will be disenfranchised by the Trump administration. If you can volunteer time or set up a monthly fixed donation to associations like the ACLU or Planned Parenthood, that'd make a huge difference to a lot of people. You can also look into local charities in your cities that maybe help resettle immigrants, or, help homeless LGBT youth. That's a huge issue in America right now. Finally, and I don't want to say most importantly, but it's pretty dang important, when the midterm elections happen in 2 years, in 2018, please vote. Voter turnout in the midterms tends to be really low, and also mostly old white Republicans, so we need to change that trend. And if you're sitting there like, Megan, I might forget to vote, don't worry, I'll be here on the internet screaming at you, reminding you to vote. That's all I do here now. I just scream about voting. This little box, I live in this little box and I just scream about. If you have any comments, any suggestions for other people going through this election, please post them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, I'm going to be talking about this election, I guess, for 4 more long, painful years, so feel free to click subscribe. I'm going to be here. I'm going to need your help for sure. It's going to be rough. I'm also on social media down below if you want to extend that hug to all corners of the internet. I'd really appreciate it. And there's another video in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen if you want to watch something else from me right now. I will see you guys next time. I'm going to have the world's longest nap. Bye.